All right, what's going on, everybody? Another Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer. Sorry for the long introduction, but when Sammy is singing that good, I can't let it go. I can't stop it. You really have to let it go there. Can't Stop Loving You. That's from the Balance album, the last studio album that the iteration of Van Halen with Sammy Hagar would do. And it's interesting. I play that because of the fact that Sammy Hagar was quoted in interviews about a week or so ago about how he is essentially saying that he's not going to be touring as much anymore. He never said he was going to retire, and I didn't get that from the gist of the interview. But he did say this upcoming residency that he's having in Vegas, if it works out, he'd like to do more of those because you're in one place. You don't have to be traveling from city to city to city. And so, it's more stable. And I totally understand that. And I think if it does work, that's why I said to people last year, if you didn't see that Best of All Worlds tour, you probably missed out on a golden opportunity because I don't think you're going to see that sort of lengthy tour again. One-offs, couple of nights in a city or something, maybe. But for the most part, it's going to be you need to come to a specific place in order to see him play. Got no problem with it. All right, let's dive in. Coming up in 20 minutes, Johnny Ifrigan from Niteglow Brewing in Brooklyn. He's going to join me to talk about all the cool things happening as the brewery turns 1 in February. And maybe we'll see if he'll reveal what he's bringing to New York City Brewed next month as well. That's coming up in just about 20 minutes from now. A lot of news to get to, a lot of it local in this first segment. First up, Bear Brewing is turning 3. Friday, January 31st, they are doing a beer release that day, 2-2. It's a double IPA at 8%. They're going to have a food truck there. It'll be Cousin's Maine Lobster from 4 to 8 p.m. and music from Jackson Rose from 6 to 8 p.m. on Saturday, February 1st. The beer release is a collab brew with Lost Elephant Brewing Company. It's a cold IPA at 6%. They'll have Matt's Family Taste the Love food truck from 1 to 7:30 and music from Sublime Message Band from 5 to 8. So that's Friday, January 31st, and Saturday, February 1st. They'll have beer releases on both of those days. 3 Threes is turning 9 on Saturday, February 8th. Exclusive new beer releases. They're going to have delicious burgers from Five Sisters Food Truck, sweet treats from Batch It Up Bakery, and celebrate their newly remodeled tap room from noon to 10 p.m. As they say, we've been brewing memories with you for 9 years. This milestone is all about raising a glass to you, our amazing supporters. Our anniversary party is always filled with good times, and this year will not be any different. The Brew Crew has a plan to bring you some new, fun, exciting beers. We cannot wait to celebrate with you. Kudos to 3 Threes on 9 years. That's taking place on Saturday, February 8th. Now, Bucket Brigade Brewery down in the Cape May area has decided to close for good as of today. For the past 7 years, your support, passion, and friendship have meant the world to us. According to them, we can't thank you enough for the memories we've shared in the community we've built together. I'm not going to go into the whole statement. You can read it on their Facebook page. But Carl's son, Carlson, is going to take over the brewery and rename it. And so it's going to be called Obscura Brewing Company, and that will open on March the 6th. They're going to close down. They're going to revamp a few things, and then we'll reopen on March the 6th. And on March the 6th, Obscura Brewing Company will open its doors for a soft opening party and an Atlantic City Beer Fest ticket event as well. So you can get your tickets for the AC Beer and Music Fest with no fees. You'll have to pay tax, but no fees unless you pay with a credit card, which is pretty cool. Facebook.com/Obscura Brewing, OBSCURA Brewing, or head to the website obscurabrewingco.com for more information. So kudos to Bucket Brigade. They're closing, but they're changing. That's basically what the gist of it is. So kudos to Bucket Brigade for the 7 years. And, of course, good luck to Carlson and Obscura Brewing when they open on March the 6th. Needle Creek Farm Brewery. We mentioned these guys a while back. So Greg, who used to work at Greg Morantz, who used to work at Screamin' Hill, has come in to run this farmhouse brewery that's going to be opening on Valentine's Day weekend. So February 14th through the 16th. It's John Hart Farms in Pennington, New Jersey. From me, it's about an hour. Friday, 3 to 8 p.m., Saturday noon to 8, Sunday noon to 6. What to expect? They say grab your Valentine, your crew, or just yourself for a weekend of craft beer and good vibes in a one-of-a-kind setting. What to look forward to? Brews to kick back with. A historic 1700s barn with rugged charm. A beer garden, tap room, and countryside. Farm animals, music and food trucks, fire pits. Whether you're here for the beer or the atmosphere, we will make it worth your time. Follow at Needle Creek Brew for updates and sneak peeks. Mark your calendars. Valentine's weekend is better with a pint in hand. Cheers to everyone. I'm going to try and get Greg on the show maybe next week or the week after to promote this event. I'd like to try and get down there. It's not too far from Troon, so I'm going to see what happens there. And we'll try. Hopefully, we'll try and be there maybe for Friday for Valentine's Day. My wife and I don't celebrate Valentine's Day because our wedding anniversary is 2 weeks after that. So we don't celebrate the fake phony holiday. There you go. Stoutfest, Episode 8 from Sigmeister, taking place Saturday, February 15th. Welcome to the dark side of beer. Stoutfest back better than ever. They're going to be tapping over 40 varieties of stouts throughout the day in an event that you do not want to miss. I've never been to one. I've had a bunch of Sigmeister's beers, and I've actually never been to Zig, which is kind of funny. And I know the owner, Matt. I should actually go there. One of these days I'll get there. I doubt I'll get to the Stoutfest, but one of these days I will get over there. There's a couple of breweries around in that area that I definitely want to check out. Three Floyds Brewing, a brewery renowned for its big hoppy IPAs and bold imperial stouts, actually put out a traditional style lager brewed with Indiana corn grits. Floyd's Deluxe 4.5% ABV lighter style premium lager checks off all the crisp, clean, and refreshing boxes. And then I don't know if you saw this story. The family of Leinenkugels, who sold the brewery in Chippewa Falls and elsewhere to Molson Coors a while back, has been trying to reacquire the brewery in Chippewa Falls because Molson Coors had announced a couple months ago they were closing it. They were moving all the operations to a different location. And, I guess they were offering some people jobs, but others were going to be out of a job. And so essentially they said, hey, look, the family said, we would like to try and take over, that brewery again. Now, Jake and Dick Leinenkugel had been trying to reacquire the beloved brewery, an effort which apparently Molson Coors said, no, we're not interested in selling it to you. And so back on January 15th, they posted something on LinkedIn, a statement, and they basically said, we're sad by the decision of Molson Coors to close the Chippewa Falls Brewery. It's been the heart and soul of Leinenkugels for more than 157 years. For 6 generations, our family has taken pride in brewing exceptional beers and building tasting connections with loyal fans in Wisconsin and across the nation. Our thoughts are with the 56 employees affected by the closure, along with their families. We want to reassure our employees at the brewery and Leinie Lodge, as well as our partners, retailers, distributors, and fans, we are committed to exploring every avenue to preserve this vital part of our history. To this end, we submitted a formal proposal to Molson Coors requesting to enter into a non-disclosure agreement. It would allow us to begin discussions on acquiring the Chippewa Falls Brewery with the goal of maintaining its operations under Leinenkugel family leadership. On January 6th, we received a response from Molson Coors CEO Gavin Hattersley, who declined to pursue an NDA. He stated Molson Coors remains fully committed to the Leinenkugels brand. While we appreciate Gavin's affirmation of the brand's importance, we believe that true commitment must include preserving the Chippewa Falls Brewery and the livelihood of those who depend on it. On January 8th, we followed up with Mr. Hattersley to emphasize our long-standing relationship over the past 23 years that could serve as the foundation for an open and transparent conversation even without an NDA. We reiterated our willingness to discuss acquiring the brewery's assets and preserving its operations in Chippewa Falls. As of January 15th, we have not received a response to our follow-up email. Despite this, we remain optimistic that Molson Coors leadership will reconsider our proposal and engage in meaningful discussions about safeguarding this important part of our heritage. I don't understand why Molson Coors wouldn't do something like this and say, okay, maybe we'll sell it back to you. Seems ridiculous, especially if it had been in the family for over 150-something years. Just ridiculous. When we come back after a short break, we're going to have more news and notes from around the beer world. And then later on, Johnny Iffergan from Niteglow Brewing will join me. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Welcome back to the Algatulo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970. The Answer. That's right, Running Wild from Judas Priest from the Killing Machine album. You know it here in America, though, as, what was it, Hellbent for Leather, right? Was the name of the album, or was it, Hellbent for Leather. Because the reason why they changed the title in America was because of the fact that there was a massacre or a shooting or something with a guy in the United States, so they decided to change the album title in America as the story goes. And then, later on it was released again as Killing Machine. It's the fifth studio album from Judas Priest that was released back in 1978. So, dating myself there. Man, I was a young lad. Anyway, moving on. Coming up in just 10 minutes, Johnny Ifrigan from Niteglow Brewing in Brooklyn. He'll join me to talk all about the cool things that are happening as the brewery turns one next month in February. He also reveals what he is bringing to NYC Brewed next month as well, and kind of a cool thing that he's doing. And we'll get into all of it with Johnny in just a couple of minutes from now. But there's a lot of stuff going on because of Valentine's Day, right? And breweries do a great job of spotlighting Valentine's Day, and hopefully that people will come with their significant other, their spouse or whatever. And at Icarus Brewing, Love is on Tap. This Valentine's Day, they're excited to present Shuckers and Lovers. It's a delicious beer pairing experience worth 1,000 smooches featuring the freshest oysters from the Barnegat Oyster Collective. So what's included? So for just $25 per person, you'll enjoy a half dozen oysters, 3 varieties, 2 of each, 3 Icarus beers artfully paired with each oyster variety. And you can choose a session. Session 1 is from 5 to 6:30 p.m. They say it's perfect for pre-dinner plans. And then Session 2 is 7 to 8:30 p.m. Cap off your romantic evening after having, dinner beforehand. Surprise your special someone or treat yourself to a well-deserved solo date with Cupid's Perfect Match, cold beer, briny delights. Space is limited. Don't wait to claim your spot. Cheers to love, beer, and oysters. Just head over to icarusbrewing.square site. Scroll down about halfway. You'll see the links to purchase. You have to pre-purchase it in advance. And obviously, they're only doing a limited number of spots. So if you don't get in on this right away, you're probably going to be out of luck. But this is really cool if you're into oysters and beer. And some people are. And obviously, Icarus being near the Jersey Shore in Brick, why not do it? Sounds like a lot of fun. Wet Ticket Brewing is done. And again, Valentine's Day is on a Friday. So it's like one of those perfect things. Wet Ticket Brewing, our good friends over at Wet Ticket, which, by the way, I had a chance to talk to Tim over the weekend. He gave me a call on the way home from the brewery, and just catching up and what's going on or whatever. We're looking to bring Wet Ticket back as one of our advertisers, but we're also looking to do another collaboration beer. What's it going to be? Will it be an IPA, something along the lines of Too Much Fun? Not sure. I'd like to do something a little different, but we'll see what Tim and I can come up with once we get things moving forward. So just excited to see where the next part of the friendship and the partnership is going to take us. It'll be a lot of fun. So here's something for the ladies, though, or guys. I mean, it doesn't have to be ladies, but Wednesday, February 5th, they're having a Galentine's Charm Bar Party. It's from 6 to 8 p.m., and it's in partnership with Millie and Joy, which is another local business in Rahway. For $45, you get to make your very own one-of-a-kind charm necklace and enjoy a flight of beers from Wet Ticket. Maybe a pour of Too Much Fun? Maybe. You can have whatever you want in that flight of 4 beers. Necklace, 5 charms, and a flight of 4-ounce pours included in that $45 price. Additional charms and beer are available for purchase as well. Just go to wetticketbrewing.com to purchase a ticket. This is cool. You want to do something for your lady and make her a little charm bracelet or something and enjoy some beer? Not a bad deal for $45. The Colorado Brewers Guild released a statement earlier this week. They're saying they faced another challenging year in 2024, as if most breweries haven't faced a challenge. But, obviously we're spotlighting Colorado here. With even more breweries, tap rooms, and brew pubs closing. Shawnee Adelson, who we've had on the program before, who's the executive director of the Colorado Brewers Guild, said We are arguably the most important beer-producing state in America and should be proud to be the state of craft beer. But Colorado's breweries are facing major challenges between inflation, supply chain issues, employee shortages, a pandemic, and a downward trend of drinking. These local businesses need the support of the public and lawmakers to survive. According to Colorado's Liquor Enforcement Division, beer sales in the state are down 3.2%, worse than the Brewers Association national average, showing craft beer down 2% in 2024. Also, according to the Brewers Association, more breweries, tap rooms, and brew clubs closed in 2024 than new ones opened. Since the pandemic, Colorado lost 140, 41 of those in 2024, 35 in 2023. Colorado's nearly 450 breweries help create 63,000 jobs, $4 billion in wages each year, and contribute $12.7 billion in economic activity for the state. Unfortunately, some state lawmakers are considering tax increases and other proposals that might negatively impact these homegrown businesses. Carlin Walsh, who's the chair of the Colorado Brewers Guild and the head brewer at Elevation Beer Company, said, "To continue to serve our community and support local jobs, Colorado's breweries need the support of our elected officials, though certainly through certainty and stability in the tax code. With the highest cost, increases in generations and people drinking less, tax increases would only make it harder for our local businesses to invest in hiring and expansion." And he's not wrong. This is a move I don't think that the state should be making here. You're talking about 12 billion, over 12 billion in economic activity. And people are drinking less. And again, as I've been saying all along, you need to figure out ways to get people into the building. That's the key. If you can do that, then you should be able to ride out whatever is going on. But how do you do that? You're going to have to try and do different things. So it's sad to see what's happening in Colorado, and it's sad to see what's happening all across the United States. You know, Portland certainly is not immune. A lot of these great beer places are certainly not immune to those things. WeldWorks, speaking of Colorado, announced the first Media Noche releases of 2025. These are hitting right before WeldWorks' 10-year anniversary in February. Tickets are on sale via Eventbrite now, if there are any left. Just head to Eventbrite, do a search for WeldWorks, you'll find them. Pickups begin Friday, January 31st, 11 a.m. It'll run through Sunday, February 16th at 7 p.m. Here's the two bottles. 10 Años de Media Noche celebrates a decade of Media Noche innovation. The blend was aged for over 36 months. It's one of the most unique blends that WeldWorks has ever crafted. This is aged in 23-year Pappy Van Winkle bourbon, 12-year W.L. Weller 12-year bourbon whiskey, 6-year Breckenridge port cask finished bourbon whiskey, 6-year Thomas Handy, H. Handy Sazerac straight rye whiskey. I mean, you can tell it's aged in a bunch of different barrels. A lot of fusion going on there, and very cool. The other one is a collab between WeldWorks and North Park. It is Macaroon Media Noche. This is a barrel-aged imperial stout aged for over 34 months in a combination of Weller 12 bourbon and Blanton's bourbon barrels before resting on a mix of 4 different types of coconut, raw unsweetened coconut chips, shredded unsweetened coconut, toasted coconut, and Emperor's toasted coconut flakes alongside Madagascar vanilla beans. I'm already I want a major pour of this. To finish this full-bodied blend, WeldWorks added rich caramel and dark matter coffee's unicorn blood espresso beans. It's just, all right, it sounds amazing. Go to Eventbrite right now. If there's any bottles available, you can order it, and then you have to pick it up at the brewery starting January 31st and before February 16th. Our good friends from Trogs, they have announced the release of Double Nugget Nectar, that delicious spin on its iconic once-a-year Imperial Amber Ale, Nugget Nectar. This is built around Simcoe hops. Azaka adds hints of juicy orchard fruit, while Columbus and Nugget introduce a layer of dank pine. And then to balance the assertive hop bill, the beer's recipe calls for Munich, Pilsner, and Vienna malts to lend a bready sweetness while contributing a beautiful deep amber orange color. Weighs in at 9.5%. Available on draft and in limited 16-ounce cans at Trogs Brewery throughout their entire distribution footprint. You can also get a taste of Double Nugget Nectar at select 21 years of Nugget Nectar events currently underway in markets where Trogs beer is available. So kudos to Trogs on Double Nugget Nectar. Speaking of Icarus, Come down on Thursday, February 6th from 6 to 8 p.m. The Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival folks will be there. You can get fee-free tickets to the Beer Fest, $80 plus taxes. It makes your ticket $90 flat. I will be there. I'll be interviewing John Henderson for the Craft Beer Cast. Come by. The folks at AC Beer and Music Festival, if you buy tickets, they will buy you a beer. Very cool. Or go to acbeerfest.com for details. Noon to 4, 7 to 11 p.m. on Saturday, March 29th. Census Fail is the opening band. Me First and the Gimme Gimmes is the closer. And it's going to be a fun time with the folks from AC Beer Fest. When we come back after a short break, Johnny Ifrigan from Niteglow Brewing in Brooklyn will join me. This is the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Welcome back to the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. You can follow me all over on X at Al Gattullo, Instagram at Gattullo, G-A-T-T-U-L-L-O, the same name on Threads as well, Facebook.com/AG Craft Beer Cast. We're on iTunes, we're on Odyssey, we're all over the place, Amazon, the whole thing. Or you can just head over to thehoppedupnetwork.com, and you can download the show every Monday morning, a little bit after midnight, and you can download and listen to the show whenever you feel like it, and check out the other beer podcasts that are there. Now, my next guest is the co-owner, lead brewer for a spot in Brooklyn, not only makes great craft beer, but delicious coffee as well. I had an opportunity to meet him at New York City Brewed last year, and then finally made it to his place in July of last year, and boy, did we have a great time. What a cool little setup in Brooklyn. They're open every day at 11 a.m. More info at nightglowbeer.com. But let me welcome back to the Craft Beer Cast, who right now, Johnny Ifrigan, is canning beer. He's actually putting the beer in the Pactex to get ready to sell. Johnny, how are you, my friend?
Hey, how's it going, Al? Thanks for having me again.
You got it. Now, I got to ask, because you're packaging beer here, what's the beer that just came off the line that you're packing?
Right now I'm doing a double decoction New York dark lager. So it's inspired by our, a Czech style, sort of a Chernetivo, but we use New York grown barley and hops.
Right.
And water, of course. So we're trying to take inspiration from, what's happening in the Czech Republic, but using New York ingredients to kind of show the terroir here.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, how much, Johnny, you're celebrating a year next month that you're open. How much have you learned running this business in that first year of being open in Brooklyn?
I've learned a lot. I've actually, especially running almost like a dual business with the coffee and the brewery, I've learned to, kind of just be prepared for anything to happen.
Right.
And, news is just news, right?
Yeah.
Good or bad, So you just have to keep a level head on you and just kind of take it as it comes, and it's going to be okay. If there's anything I learned from being in New York is, my favorite saying is, hey, what are you going to do?
That's it. That's it. It's the same thing when Italians give advice to people. They say, you should do this and this. But what do I know is usually the closing sentence. This way it absolves them of any guilt if they follow your advice and something goes wrong. So there you go.
There you go.
Now, is there anything that, looking back on that year, is there anything that you would have done differently knowing what you know now back then?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things we would have done differently. You've been to our space, so you kind of know it definitely leans very heavy on the coffee shop.
Right.
The brewery's kind of tucked in the back, kind of almost like on purpose. We wanted to draw people in with the coffee brand that people knew from LA, and
right.
Kind of discover that we're also making beer. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things that I think people started to think maybe we're just a bar at night, and that's what Niteglow is, and so just trying to get people to realize that, no, we're actually, making beer here, we're selling it, and, that we have a farm license, and we're supporting New York farmers and maltsters and hop growers. So that's kind of a big priority for 2025 is to really, try to make a big statement about that and, with better signage and we've changed our hours as well a little bit just to kind of,
keep things
show
moving
that,
along.
Yeah, keep things moving along. But, thankfully we've been lucky, Al. We've had a lot of great press, a lot of great good people get the word out about us and what we're doing, especially with our Lucre faucets. And
Yep.
It's created a lot of noise, as they say.
That is true, and we're going to get to the Lucre faucets and the press that you've gotten in just a moment. We're talking with co-owner and lead brewer Johnny Ifrigan of Niteglow Beer. Not only craft beer, coffee too. They're open every day at 11 a.m. Niteglowbeer.com is the website. They're on 8 Wilson Avenue. They're right near a subway stop. It's a great little spot. You should absolutely check it out. Now, you're releasing a new version of your first beer that you put out that I tried at New York City Brew that I was blown away by. It's a sessionable coffee brown ale. So what's different about this version of the beer now as opposed to last year?
Yeah, so this version, last year we used a coffee from Nomad, which is a roaster in Spain, in Barcelona. And, it's something that I had to learn pretty quickly, Al, is that, single origin coffee is very coveted. It's a very, it doesn't last forever, right? Just like anything that grows in the ground. And so we learned pretty quickly that, a beer that we really loved was something we could ever replicate ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll never get that coffee again.
Right.
So luckily, Niteglow has we call them evergreen brands. They're kind of our flagship core brands.
Sure.
Niteglow has kind of an evergreen brand called Decadence. It's a Colombian washed light roast coffee from the Huila region in Colombia. It's got nice notes of dates and nougat. It's definitely the most approachable gateway light roast coffee we have, and it's very popular because people who normally tend to like medium roast kind of chocolatey flavors really, really appreciate this coffee. It's very approachable. And so we bought a lot of that coffee, and so we have plenty to roast from, and that allowed us to, kind of align the two brands together as hey, let's make this sessionable brown ale every year if we can with the same coffee, since it seemed to be pretty popular. So this year we're featuring that Niteglow Decadent coffee, and we're using a new yeast that is kind of a fun yeast from our friends at Omega Yeast in Chicago. Mm-hmm. It's kind of taking the best parts of what the East Coast sort of British hazies have originated from,
right?
And combining that with the clarity and attenuation and dryness of the West Coast sort of California style yeast. So it's kind of like a nice balance, and it's really lended a really lovely, some lovely esters to the beer that complement the dark fruity notes of the coffee. Nice part about working with somebody in coffee is that usually the palates are pretty fun. Their terminology is pretty fun.
Right.
In beer, we're just like, hey, it's chocolatey, it's roasty, it's, toasty. But in coffee, I mean, they throw out words like kumquat and, Count Chocula cereal.
Right.
So this one, somebody said it's like a Tootsie Roll.
Oh.
So
I like that, and I like Tootsie Rolls. So that's good. I like it. All right, so it's going to be available in cans. Are you bringing it to New York City Brewed on February 22nd? That's the big question.
Yes, we will be serving it. I'm going to try to serve it on a Lucre faucet. For the festival, and don't quote me on it, but I'm going to try.
Okay.
And we're also going to be serving the flash brew version of the same coffee. So you can try the coffee and then try the coffee in the beer.
I love it. And I love what New York City Brewed is doing this year, innovating by doing New York coffee and wine and sake and all that stuff. I think that's great. I think it's a great way to get people in that may not necessarily drink beer, so that's awesome. We're talking with co-owner and lead brewer Johnny Ifrigan of Niteglow Beer as he's packing his beer and getting ready to put it up for sale. Not only craft beer, coffee too. They're open every day at 11 a.m. Niteglowbeer.com is the website. for more information. We're here on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970, The Answer. So in the New York Times last week, you were featured along with other breweries that are using Lucaport taps. How awesome is it that you're educating people on the use of a Lucaport tap? Because it seems like everyone wants to have one of these taps in their brewery now.
Yeah, for sure. Daily is the answer. I mean, we are sort of every day we are explaining the beauty and the wonder of these faucets to customers that are curious and excited, or maybe a little bit, scared. I don't know,
right?
Or skeptical about trying it. And we're very fortunate that Lucre has really been very supportive. They came out to the East Coast, they did a little tour. We were one of the 5 stops to try to help, spread the word and educate everybody on how to properly pour from the faucets. So we've had a lot of great outreach. There's still, a lot to be learned, and I think it's great that there's a lot of, people who are really in love with what they're doing with these faucets, and then there's people that hate it, and I think that's actually a good thing. I think oftentimes new things tend to always have kind of a love-hate thing,
right?
And but we're just really fortunate and grateful that our community in Bushwick has been very accepting of this kind of crazy idea to have only 8 Lucre faucets.
Right. And what's great is the fact, you get people to try it, you educate them. And listen, if you don't like it, then it's not your thing. That's okay. But the fact that you're getting people to try it in a way, and I love the fact that at your place you only serve the beer on Lucre taps. I think that gives people, hey, look, just try this. Trust me, you're going to like it. You can drink it like a regular beer if you want to. You can try it in a different way, and that I think is fantastic. Now, when I saw you last summer, there were plans, you had told me, about opening a satellite location in Los Angeles. Is that still the case? Have things moved along, or is that sort of on the back burner now?
No, it's still the case. It's definitely, hopefully construction should be commencing any day now, this month. And the plan is to have it open before the summer.
Okay.
To, hopefully get it open in time for baseball season, since we're really close to the Dodgers.
Nice.
I'm going to be wearing my Yankees uniform.
Good. I like that. Stick it to them, because it sounds to me like they're going to win the next 6 World Series anyway, the way they're stocking players. So why not?
Exactly.
Give them a little tweak while you're out there. That's good. I like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll definitely have, I think that location is going to be nice. It's going to be definitely the best amalgamation of the 2 brands. It'll definitely feel more like a tap room with, lots of bar seating, windows kind of all around, really good vantage point of the brew house. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun space, with some outdoor seating, and we'll have a projector to show the game.
Nice.
So yeah, it should be a good spot.
Sounds like a really, really cool spot, opening soon in Los Angeles, hopefully by the summer. My guest has been co-owner and lead brewer Johnny Ifrigan. Niteglow Beer. Niteglobeer.com is the website. They're on 8 Wilson Street, Wilson Avenue, in Brooklyn, New York. Go check them out. Coffee in the front, beer in the back. You will not be disappointed. Johnny, thanks so much for joining me tonight. I very much appreciate it, and I will see you at New York City Brewed on February 22nd. Kudos to the 1-year anniversary, and best of luck, my friend.
Thanks so much, Al. Appreciate it.
You got it. Up next, it's time for Suds and Duds on the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Final segment of the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Finally, my voice seems to be getting back to normal after being sick for the last week and a half. A little cold that I caught at the gym. People, if you're going to the gym and you're coughing and you're not covering your mouth, then you should stay home. That's all I have to say about that. All right, let us dive in to Suds and Duds. Affogato, Worldwide Stout by Dogfish Head. So this was the last bottle in the Advent box that Dogfish Head had sent me, which was really cool. all kinds of different beers, canned cocktails, a hat, keychains, lanyards, stickers, all kinds of fun stuff. It was a lot of fun going through each day and seeing what was going to pop up. But this was the last bottle that I received on December 24th. Had this as part of the Lager Room guys' a year-end celebration where we drink nothing less than 12%. And boy, was it was a fun night. Let's put it that way. So chocolate, coffee, all of the different things that you want, vanilla, everything that you want out of an affogato in a coffee, in a beer. Fantastic. It was so good. Then I had the Master Blend by 6 Point, my last can of this. Silky smooth but boozy. You have to make sure it warms up a little bit. I got this at Brookfield Place, and it probably been sitting in the fridge good 7-8 months, but really nice. But you definitely have to let it warm up. And then this can, my goodness, way over a year of sitting in my fridge. Black Ops, the Four Roses small batch that I got from Brooklyn Brewery. Still very boozy, chocolate, coffee, a little bit of mutedness in the booze, but still just fantastic. And then I was feeling so advantageous that I decided to dive into a can of my Cafe Ichiro from Carton from easily, got to be 3-4 years old. And still, the coffee is there. The cinnamon is there. It's, all of the flavors are sort of muted. You don't really get that strong punch, but it's still boozy and a perfect nightcap. So I'll leave it at that. And then on New Year's Eve, I headed over to Stick Cigars because I hadn't been there in a while. And I do enjoy sitting in a cigar shop and just having a cigar, just smoking one and sitting for a couple of hours and relaxing. And, boy, let me tell you something. Sticks and Rawway, they also have another place in Somerville, but Sticks and Rawway is great. Sit down. I brought a book. I brought a can of Cafe Noir from Source Brewing, which, espresso, coffee, really deep, and boozy, but you can sip over a long period of time and let it warm up. Just a perfect afternoon before the New Year's Eve festivities. It was great. Just got to spend 2 hours of relaxing and enjoying a beautiful cigar while reading a book. It was really nice. And Cafe Noir is the perfect beer to have while you're smoking a cigar. Actually, there's another perfect beer. We'll probably get to that in a couple of weeks, and I'll explain why. And then I went to a New Year's Eve celebration with neighbors of ours that invited us over, a bunch of friends. So I brought over a bottle of A Night to End All Dawns, the Vanilla Bean edition from 2024. The bourbon and vanilla in this mix perfectly. Lots of flavor, simply delicious. Had a couple of glasses of this. It was outstanding. Can't wait to crack open the other couple of bottles that I bought. Then I brought the Halloween Stout by Source Brewing, which I purchased back in October. Big boozy beer, and yet the peanut butter and marshmallow are silky smooth. Delicious. I mean, we were all really impressed with this one because the peanut butter and marshmallow are right there in your face, but so's the booze, and all of it complements itself very well. I had a chance to talk to Phil Petrarca a couple of weeks ago when I was there at Source picking up some stuff. We're going to get him back on the program very soon. Got a couple of different guests the next couple of weeks, but some new stuff that's happening with Source. You definitely want to tune into that. Then on New Year's Day, obviously Carton comes out with their coffee series. So I purchased some stuff, and that Thursday I was meeting up with a friend for dinner. So I decided, and it was nearby, so I decided to stop at Carton before I went and had dinner with my friend, and had a big pour of the St. Kitts, which is so good. And Augie described this perfectly. The rum and coconut very well balanced in this, but it definitely reminds you of being on the beach. Like it's got all the feels of being on a beach. Fantastic stuff. Loved it. And then the gentleman behind the bar was kind enough to give me a little taste of the Foster. Big banana hit, some sweetness. It's delicious, but I can see where people were saying it was a little bit. They felt like it was a little bit off. I didn't think it was that off-putting, but I did feel like it didn't have the burnt sugar that you really want. The sweetness is there, but I don't know. I don't feel like something was missing. Maybe it was my palate because I had the St. Kitts already. I don't know. If I had to put it this way, if I had to choose one over the other, if it was St. Kitts or Foster, I would go back to St. Kitts because that was the better, to me, of the two. And I'll just leave it at that. Wet Ticket Brewing came out with a nice hazy session IPA called Little Juice. Very nice, eminently drinkable. Got that bite to it that you want, but still has that haze in there, which is always good. The Droning On Lager from Wet Ticket, clean, crisp, delicious. Can't say enough good things about it. I hope they can this beer because I would definitely buy 4-pack after 4-pack after 4-pack. And this is just one of those beers that you could just suck down without a problem. 5%, excellent stuff. Then you have I had a can now in the Cafe Ichiro. The other variant was the Cafe Recipe Contest by Carton, and this was Augie in their attempts to come up with a pineapple upside down cake. And I have to say, I think they nailed it. But I also got what Augie said in his video on Instagram where he says it definitely reminds him of an IPA. I totally see that because of the pineapple. But you got to let it warm up. Pineapple on the nose, burnt sugar up front, the cherry on the back end, very subtle, very enjoyable. It sort of hits you, the cherry, and backs off, which I love. Great stuff. Nice job on that one. Very, very good. And then finally, my good friend Kim, one half of Cracked One at the Summit, Kim and Colleen, she was down at Aslan, down in D.C. in the Virginia area, and asked if I wanted anything. She brought me back full basic, a delicious dark Czech lager, roasty, really nice. I don't think Aslan, I think of the beers that I've had so far from Aslan, they don't make a bad beer, which is always a good thing. You got to love that. Delicious stuff. Thanks, Kim, for bringing that back for me. I really do appreciate it. It was excellent. And in a 12-ounce can, which is even better. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention about Tip Top Cocktails. They sent me a bunch of the cocktails, and I had a couple, and since you can't check them in on Untappd, I had the Jungle Bird. Wow, what a fantastic drink. Very rum runner-ish, sort of, tropical fruity, really, really nice. Enjoyed that one a lot. And then I had the Mai Tai, which I thought was fantastic. If you're looking for canned cocktails for a party and you don't want to make stuff and you want it very easy for people to drink, get those. Tip Top Cocktails, tiptopcocktails.com, I think. Just do a search for Tip Top Cocktails. You can find them at your liquor stores. They are excellent and perfect. They're perfect tailgating one, too. Throw them in the cooler. Somebody wants it. You give them a little bit of ice. Pour it over some ice. You can't go wrong. Fantastic stuff. Great job at a Tip Top Cocktails, and hopefully I'll get through the other ones very, very soon. My thanks to everybody involved in the show, as well as my guest, Johnny Ifrigan from Niteglow in Brooklyn, and, of course, last but not least, the great Buddy Watson. Buddy, thanks for the fighting cans. Very much appreciated. Back live on the Joe Piscopo Show Monday at 6 a.m. This has been the Al Gattullo Craft Beer Cast on AM 970 The Answer. Cheers, everybody.